So, talk about having Zach as a player on this team, Zach Shannon.
Well, I think having Zach is probably more pressure on Zach than it is on me. I know what Zach brings, what kind of a player he is, and what his assets are. I think he has to find his own way. He's 16 years old still, so he's still a very young kid. And so the coaching staff obviously will utilize him to the best of their ability and bring him along the way they should, a young 16-year-old player. Obviously it's convenient, and it's it's a thrill, of course, to have him playing here, and he loves it here. So I mean, he brings a lot of offense, and that's his game. He's a power play specialist, so they're hard to find. So that'll be the strength of his games. I don't imagine he's going to go out and win any big battles against the 6'4", 250-pound guys right away. But he's 16, so I always say, bring him along. Should be a really good 20-year-old, 19-year-old for us someday.
Is it difficult to switch modes from being a GM, evaluating him, and being a dad?
It's difficult. When you're in the meetings and stuff like that. I'm not naive. I think the boys guard themselves a little bit in some of the things they say, but the beauty of it is that I know Zach as a player, and I know his strengths and his weaknesses. And so when someone speaks of his weaknesses, I've known those weaknesses before they do, so it doesn't hurt my feelings or anything. I mean, everybody has weaknesses, so I don't get hurt when they talk about another player's weaknesses, so I've got to kind of realize that I can't get hurt when they talk about his.
So it's easy for you to when somebody says, oh, he's just on the team because of his father, does it just go through one year and out the other?
It has to, because I mean there's all kinds of situations in hockey across the world where all kinds of young men are playing hockey and their fathers are very involved, and I mean we go from Sutters to they give you hundreds of examples. Basically you answer to a higher power, and I mean you got an owner, you got a team president, you got a coach, those guys obviously, and when Ed was here, Ed was very straightforward on all of that, and said, I see Zach as a 17-year-old with us someday, going to be a good 18, 19, 20-year-old player, bring him along. I don't think anything's changed. I think Ed really liked him when we drafted him, and those kind of guys are really, there's not many of them that have the offensive ability to run a power play. And so that's his strength, and I mean that Lawrence Academy last year, that's what he did. He played with Whitney and good players, and they had a great year, and he loved every second of it. But this is where he wants to be and play at a higher level. What
has Coach McAdams said about him?
Same thing, basically. He sees him exactly how I see him, and how and how Coach Harding saw him when he was here, and that is that an offensive guy, got to learn to take care of his own end better. But most 16-year-olds, they do have to learn to take care of their own end, and so he sees him as a kid that he's just like every other kid. He's got to work with and bring him along. Good practices, learn the game better, get stronger, continue to work out and train. He's gained 20 pounds in 1 year. If he gains another 20 pounds, that puts him at 200. Well, I don't know if I'd want that, because he'd be a little loose in flexibility. But he works hard and trains hard in the summertime with Ken Seaman at UNB, and so he's getting every opportunity to be a hockey player. And if someday there's, he always, like every kid, he has pro aspirations, but when it really comes down to it, I think Zach, if he ends up at the University of New Brunswick someday playing for the Varsity Reds for 5 years, he'll probably say that he had a really good hockey career, and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, you mentioned, I mean, he's a smaller one.